The stars twinkled peacefully in the night sky above Earth. People went about their lives, unaware that among those distant lights, a terrible war raged. The Galactic Concord, a union of advanced alien species, fought desperately against the Void Dominion, a cruel enemy that consumed entire worlds. For 300 years, the Conquered had been losing ground. Their scientists and strategists searched the galaxy for help. That search led them to a small blue planet called Earth. Scout ships observed humans from afar. They watched cities rise and fall. They studied human wars and conflicts with growing interest. Humans fought fiercely and never gave up, even when victory seemed impossible. "This species has potential," reported Captain Han to the Concord Council. "They lack advanced technology, but they possess something more valuable, an unbreakable fighting spirit." Many council members disagreed. "They're primitive and violent," argued Elder Mock. "They spend more time fighting each other than advancing." "Precisely why we need them," Captain Han replied. "The galaxy needs warriors. The Void adapts to our technology faster than we can develop it. These humans adapt to chaos itself." After much debate, the council approved first contact. They chose Ambassador Tay, known for his diplomatic skills, to lead the mission. The Conquered ship appeared over Earth's United Nations building on a quiet Tuesday morning. Panic spread across the globe as the massive vessel hovered silently above New York City. Military forces worldwide went on high alert, but their weapons were useless against the advanced shields. Ambassador Tay's message played on every communication device around the world. "People of Earth, we come seeking alliance, not conquest. Your world stands at the edge of a conflict beyond your understanding." World leaders gathered hurriedly. Security teams swept the UN building 3 times before Ambassador Tay was allowed to enter. He walked calmly to the podium, his tall, slender form and silver skin causing whispers throughout the assembly. "Your species has great potential," Tay told the stunned audience. "The galaxy needs warriors. We need your unique abilities." The UN Secretary General stood shakily. "What exactly do you want from us?" Tay activated a hologram showing planets being consumed by darkness. "The Void Dominion has destroyed 3,000 worlds. Your planet is not yet on their path, but soon it will be. Alone you cannot stop them. Even the Concord struggles, but together we might survive." For weeks, Earth's nations argued among themselves. Some wanted nothing to do with an alien war. Others saw opportunity in gaining advanced technology. Few believed the aliens themselves were the real threat. General Park of South Korea studied the combat footage the Concord had shared. "Their tactics are too rigid," she told her colleagues. "They fight like machines, not warriors." When the Void Dominion destroyed a small Concord outpost just beyond Pluto, the debate ended. Earth's nations formed the Terran Defense Coalition. Humans would fight. "Your people will serve as auxiliary forces," explained Concord General Bin during the first planning session. "You'll support our main fleets while your soldiers learn to use proper weapons." General Park exchanged looks with other human commanders. The aliens' tone was clear. Humans were seen as primitive tools, useful cannon fodder, while more civilized species worked on technological solutions. "They think we're disposable," Park whispered after the meeting. "Let them underestimate us." Training began immediately. Humans struggled with the advanced technology but showed remarkable determination. While Concord instructors expected humans to take years to master basic space combat, the first pilots were combat-ready in months. The Concord Council watched these developments with growing unease. "They learn too quickly," warned Elder Mock. "Remember the risk assessment. Their history is filled with examples of turning allies' technology against them." "We need them," insisted Captain Han. "The Void grows stronger every day." 6 months after first contact, the first human battle group prepared to leave Earth orbit. Thousands gathered to watch the ships depart. Families said goodbye to loved ones heading to fight in distant stars. Commander Kim stood on the bridge of the TDC Hope, Earth's first true starship. Most of the technology came from the Conquered, but humans had already begun making modifications the aliens found puzzling or unnecessary. "The Concord expects us to follow," Kim told his crew. But humanity has never been good at simply following. We're going to show the galaxy what Earth can do. As the ships accelerated away from Earth, Ambassador Tay sent a private message to the Concord Council. The humans are coming. They believe they're joining our war as equals. For now, let them believe it. Little did he know that humans would soon change the nature of the war itself. The human fleet reached the Concord training base at Proxima Station 3 weeks after leaving Earth. Commander Kim and his officers stared in wonder at the massive structure. It was bigger than any city on Earth, home to millions of beings from dozens of alien species. "Welcome to basic training," said Instructor Jin, a veteran Concord officer assigned to the human forces. His tone made it clear he didn't expect much from them. "We'll start with simple ship operations." The humans exchanged glances. They had already mastered ship operations during the journey. Commander Kim stepped forward. "With respect, we're ready for combat training," he said. Jin laughed. "It took the Relians 2 years to learn basic navigation. You expect me to believe humans mastered it in 3 weeks? Test us," Kim challenged. The test was meant to humble the humans. Jin placed Commander Kim in a battle simulator against an experienced Concord pilot. To Jin's shock, Kim not only held his own but used maneuvers the instructor had never seen. "How did you do that?" Jin demanded after the simulation ended. "Fighter pilots on Earth have been developing combat maneuvers for over a century," Kim explained. "The physics are different in space, but the principles of aerial combat still apply." Word spread quickly through Proxima Station. These humans learned faster than expected. The Concord leadership decided to accelerate their training program. For 3 months, humans trained day and night. They struggled with energy weapons, their reflexes too slow compared to species who had used them for generations. But they found creative solutions to their limitations. "If we can't aim as fast, we'll predict where the enemy will be," said Weapons Officer Sun during a training exercise. She modified the targeting computers to calculate probable enemy movements based on human combat experience. The hit rate improved by 60%. Dr. Lee, a military historian from Earth, became an unexpected asset. He studied records of Concord battles against the Void Dominion. "They always follow the same patterns," he told Commander Kim. "The Concord attacks with superior technology. The Void adapts. The Concord retreats to develop new technology. It's been the same cycle for 300 years. "And what would Earth forces do differently?" Kim asked. "Change tactics, not just technology," Lee replied. "The Void expects technical solutions. They won't expect unpredictability." 6 months after arriving at Proxima Station, the human forces received their first real mission. The border world Nexus Prime was under attack. The regular Concord forces were surrounded and called for reinforcements. "This is a simple support mission," Concord General Bin instructed. "Hold position at these coordinates and draw some of the enemy forces away from the main battle." Commander Kim studied the battle plans with his officers. "These positions make no tactical sense," said Navigator Young. "They're treating us like bait." "Then let's be bait that bites back," Kim decided. "We'll follow orders until the battle begins, then implement Plan Delta." The human ships arrived at Nexus Prime and took their assigned positions. The Void Dominion ships, black and threatening, moved exactly as predicted toward the main Concord fleet. "Now," ordered Kim when the enemy was fully committed. The human ships broke formation, accelerating at speeds the Concord considered reckless. They attacked the Void ships from multiple directions using modified weapon systems that fired in unpredictable patterns. The Void Dominion, used to the methodical Concord approach, could not adapt quickly enough. For the first time in decades, they retreated from a border world. On the observation deck of the Concord flagship, General Bin watched in disbelief. "They disobeyed direct orders," he said. Beside him, alien psychologist Rin studied the human movements with fascination. "Look how they function under pressure. Most species become less effective as stress increases. Humans become more focused, more determined. It defies our understanding of stress responses." After the battle, Commander Kim was called before the Concord leadership. He expected punishment for changing the battle plan. Instead, he found curious alien officers eager to learn about human tactics. "Your approach was unconventional," General Bin admitted. but effective. We want to understand how humans think in combat situations. News of the victory spread throughout the conquered. Other species began requesting human advisors for their own forces. Commander Kim's battle group received new missions, each more important than the last. But not everyone welcomed human success. Some conquered species feared these newcomers who learned so quickly and fought so fiercely. Watch them carefully, Elder Mock warned the council. Today they fight for us. Tomorrow, who knows? Meanwhile, deep in Void territory, the hive mind analyzed the battle data from Nexus Prime. For the first time in centuries, it encountered something truly new. These humans were different from the predictable conquered forces. The Void Dominion made a decision. The humans must be studied, understood, and eliminated before they changed the nature of the war. 2 years passed since humans first joined the war against the Void Dominion. What began as a small human auxiliary force had grown into a significant military presence. Admiral Kim, promoted after multiple successful missions, now commanded a fleet of 50 ships, not just human vessels, but also those crewed by other, conquered species who respected human battle tactics. Admiral Kim stood on the bridge of his flagship, the TDC Thunderbolt, looking at the holographic display of the current front lines. Human forces had pushed back the Void in several sectors, but the enemy was learning, adapting. "They study us now," said Intelligence Officer Yoon, pointing to battle data. "The Void puts more resources into fighting human forces than any other conquered battle group. They adapt faster than before," Kim agreed, "but so do we." The Thunderbolt orbited Helios Station, a massive Concord base that had become the headquarters for human operations. Below on the station, thousands of humans worked alongside aliens, sharing knowledge and training together. In the Strategy Center, Dr. Lee had assembled a team of Earth historians and military experts who studied past human conflicts and adapted those lessons to space warfare. The ancient naval battles of Admiral Yi provide perfect strategies for defending the Orion sector, Dr. Lee explained to a group of Concord officers. The aliens watched with interest as he demonstrated how 16th century Korean naval tactics could be applied to modern space combat. Not all conquered species welcomed human innovations. During a council meeting on Helios Station, Elder Mock spoke against giving humans more responsibility. "They've advanced too quickly," he argued. 2 years ago they barely understood faster than light travel. Now they command our ships and redesign our weapons. We know nothing about their long-term intentions. Despite these concerns, humanity's success in battle was undeniable. Admiral Kim had implemented Earth's naval tactics on a stellar scale, treating space not as empty void, but as an ocean with currents of gravity and radiation that could be navigated strategically. The Void Dominion noticed. During a skirmish in the Cygnus sector, human forces captured a Void drone intact, a rare intelligence prize. The drone's memory contained disturbing information. "They adapt faster than we do," the translated Void communications revealed. "They learn from failure instead of fearing it. Priority, study human neural patterns. Priority, develop specific counter-strategies." Admiral Kim shared this information with the Conquered Council. "The Void sees us as a unique threat. We should increase cooperation between all species to stay ahead of their adaptations." Some council members agreed, but others grew more suspicious of human intentions. After the meeting, a junior officer approached Admiral Kim with troubling news. "Sir, I found something in the Concord technical database. There are entire sections on advanced weapons technology that aren't being shared with Earth forces." Further investigation revealed the Concord had been withholding crucial technology, fearing what humans might do with it. Admiral Kim called an emergency meeting with General Park, who now led Earth's defense forces. "They don't trust us," Kim said, "even as we fight and die for their cause." "Perhaps they're right not to trust us," Park replied. "Humans have always been dangerous when cornered. And make no mistake, Admiral, we are cornered in this war." Their discussion was interrupted by an urgent transmission. New Eden, humanity's first colony world beyond the solar system, was under attack by the largest void force ever recorded. The Concord Council ordered a strategic withdrawal. New Eden cannot be defended with available forces. Elder Mock declared. We must preserve our strength for more critical systems. Admiral Kim stared at the council in disbelief. There are 10,000 human colonists on New Eden. Families, children. Regrettable losses, said Elder Mock, but militarily necessary. For the first time since joining the Concord, humans openly defied orders. Admiral Kim gathered every available human ship and called for volunteers from other species. To his surprise, many alien captains joined him. The Concord abandoned my homeworld 2 decades ago, said Captain Yule, a veteran officer from a species nearly destroyed by the Void. I will not let that happen to yours. The battle for New Eden was devastating. Human forces arrived too late to save the colony. The Void had already consumed half the planet. Admiral Kim ordered an immediate attack despite being outnumbered, 3-1. The battle lasted 2 days. When it ended, the Void forces had been driven back, but at terrible cost. 1/3 of the human fleet was destroyed. The colony of New Eden was gone. Admiral Kim walked silently through the field hospital on his flagship. Injured humans and aliens filled every available space. In the center of the medical bay, he found Captain Yule being treated for severe burns. Was it worth it? The alien captain asked weakly. We lost so much. We showed the Void something they've never seen before, Kim replied. And we showed the Conquered something too. Humans don't abandon our own. From now on, we fight this war our way. Throughout the fleet, human officers were already implementing new protocols. The Concord restrictions would no longer limit their operations. The war was about to change. 3 months after the fall of New Eden, a secret meeting took place on Earth. Admiral Kim met with military leaders from every major nation in a hidden facility deep underground. The room was secured against any possible Concord surveillance. The Concord sees us as useful tools, nothing more, Admiral Kim told the assembled leaders. They withhold technology. They abandon our colonies, yet they expect us to keep fighting their war. General Park, her uniform still bearing the black ribbon for New Eden, stood next to a holographic display. Project Thunderbolt begins today. We will continue to work with the Conquered, but we will develop our own strategies and technologies in secret. For 6 months, humans across Earth and the colonies worked tirelessly. Military traditions from every culture were studied and combined. Japanese naval tactics, Korean siege warfare, Indian battle formations, Brazilian jungle fighting strategies, all were adapted for space combat. At the same time, human scientists reverse-engineered Conquered technology, finding ways to improve it that the aliens had never considered. The Concord thinks linearly, explained Dr. Moon as she demonstrated a modified shield generator. They improve existing systems step by step. Humans think in leaps. We ask what-if questions they would never consider. The shield generator pulsed with energy, creating not a static barrier but a rippling, unpredictable defense that consumed less power and adapted to different types of attacks. They've used the same basic shield design for 300 years, Dr. Moon continued. We improved it in 6 months because we weren't limited by their traditions. On Helios Station, Tactical Officer Min presented new battle plans to a mixed group of human and alien commanders. The aliens listened with growing interest as she explained approaches the Conquered had never tried. We didn't just adopt their technology, Min explained. We reimagined how it could be used. Weapons aren't just about power, they're about application. A senior Concord officer named Captain Gill watched the presentation with fascination. Your species thinks about war differently than any I've encountered. You see opportunities where we see only obstacles. Necessity, Min replied simply. On Earth, the smaller force often defeated the larger one through innovation and adaptation. We've had to learn these lessons through thousands of years of conflict. While humans prepared new strategies, the Void Dominion launched a major offensive. The hive mind had analyzed human tactics and developed countermeasures. 3 conquered worlds fell in quick succession. The Conquered Council met in emergency session. Elder Mock spoke gravely. The Void has adapted to human unpredictability. Our analysts predict the loss of the entire Orion sector within months. Admiral Kim, representing Earth in the Council, listened silently. When the other members had finished speaking, he stood. The Terran Defense Coalition requests permission to lead a counter-offensive into Void territory, he announced. The Council chamber erupted in protest. No offensive had succeeded against the Void in decades. Elder Mock's voice rose above the others. With what forces? Half the human fleet was destroyed at New Eden. Admiral Kim's expression remained calm. We have rebuilt, and we have been preparing. After heated debate, the Council denied permission. The risk was too great. The Conquered would focus on defending its core worlds and developing new technology, the same strategy they had followed for centuries. Admiral Kim left the chamber without argument. That night, the human fleet vanished from its assigned positions. 50 ships, joined by 20 vessels from other species, whose captains had chosen to follow Kim, jumped into Void territory. The Concord Council was furious but could do nothing to stop the rogue fleet. 3 days passed with no communication. The Council prepared formal censures and criminal charges against the human leadership. Then reports began to arrive from the front. The Void forces attacking the Orion sector suddenly withdrew. Sensor stations detected massive energy discharges deep in enemy territory. Something unprecedented was happening. On the 6th day, Admiral Kim's fleet returned. It had struck not at the border worlds but at a major Void production center, 50 light-years behind enemy lines. The facility was destroyed, along with hundreds of Void ships caught unprepared. Impossible, Elder Mock whispered, when he saw the battle recordings. No fleet could penetrate that deeply into Void space undetected, but the humans had done it, using modified stealth technology and jamming systems the Concord had deemed theoretical. The success could not be denied. The Void Dominion's collective mind experienced something new, true fear. For centuries, it had fought a predictable enemy. Now it faced a species that grew stronger when threatened, that turned disadvantages into advantages. As news of the victory spread, other Concord species began openly supporting the human approach to the war. Captain Gill addressed the Council. For the first time, the Void retreats not because they choose to, but because they must. We should learn from our human allies. Admiral Kim returned to Earth briefly. In a private meeting with General Park, he spread a star chart across the table. "We've found it," he said, pointing to a system deep in Void space. "Their central node, the heart of the hive mind." General Park studied the chart. "The Conquered will never approve an attack. The risk is too great. Then we won't ask permission," Admiral Kim replied. Operation Typhoon begins planning now. Across human space, ships were being modified, crews trained in new tactics. The storm was gathering strength. Operation Typhoon took shape in secret. For 2 months, Admiral Kim gathered forces loyal to the human cause. Ships arrived quietly at the rendezvous point beyond the edge of Concord space. Human vessels alongside those crewed by aliens who believed in the new approach to fighting the Void. The Concord Council discovered the plan when it was already too late to stop it. Elder Mock called an emergency session. "The humans plan to attack the central Void node," he announced to the shocked Council. "They will trigger a full response from the entire Void Dominion. If they fail, the counterattack will overwhelm our defenses." The Council sent urgent messages ordering Admiral Kim to stand down. He acknowledged receipt, but continued preparations. On the flagship Thunderbolt, Kim addressed the assembled fleet commanders. Representatives from 17 species stood before him, an unprecedented alliance. "The Conquered has fought this war for 300 years using the same careful approach," he said. "The galaxy needed warriors. We brought the storm." Captain Gill, now Kim's second-in-command, spoke up. "My people have lost 12 worlds to the Void. We've followed Conquered protocols for generations. Perhaps it's time for a different path." The attack force consisted of 300 ships, the largest offensive fleet assembled in a century. As they prepared to jump to Void space, a message arrived from Earth. The holographic image of General Park appeared on the bridge. "The Council has threatened sanctions against Earth if you proceed," she reported. "But Earth stands with you, Admiral. All of humanity stands with you. The fleet jumped into the darkness of void space. For 3 days they moved deeper into enemy territory, using stealth systems and decoys to confuse void sensors. They passed the burned husks of conquered worlds, strengthening their resolve. On the 4th day, they reached their target, a massive structure orbiting a dying star. The central node of the Void Dominion pulsed with dark energy, surrounded by thousands of defender ships. All units, battle positions, Admiral Kim ordered. Remember New Eden. The human fleet dropped out of stealth mode and attacked. The Void forces responded immediately, swarming toward the invaders in numbers that darkened space itself. On the Thunderbolt's bridge, Navigator Young reported grimly, "They outnumber us 8-1, Admiral." "As expected," Kim replied calmly. "Implement Thunderbolt protocol." The human fleet executed a maneuver no Concord commander would have attempted. Instead of forming a defensive line, they split into small attack groups, each targeting different sections of the Void fleet with specialized weapons. Ships darted through impossible gaps in the enemy formation, firing precisely at weak points human scientists had identified. Aboard the Void command ship, the hive mind processed this new threat. It had studied human tactics, prepared countermeasures, but the humans had changed their approach again. The Void consciousness felt something alien to its nature: uncertainty. 6 hours into the battle, a third of the human fleet was destroyed. The remaining ships regrouped for a final push toward the central node. Admiral Kim's voice carried across all frequencies. The galaxy needed warriors. We are those warriors. Push forward. At that moment, new signals appeared on the edge of the battlefield. A Concord battle fleet had arrived, led by Elder Mock himself. For a terrible moment, Admiral Kim feared they had come to stop the human attack. Then Mock's voice came through the communication system. "The Concord joins this battle. Your tactics are reckless, Admiral Kim, but effective. We will follow your lead." With the combined forces, the tide began to turn. Human ships carved a path to the central node while Concord vessels provided covering fire. Captain Gill's ship took a direct hit but continued fighting, its crew showing the same determination that had impressed the Concord about humans from the beginning. Admiral Kim led the final assault personally. The Thunderbolt sustained heavy damage as it approached the node, systems failing across the ship. On the bridge, officers worked calmly despite the chaos, displaying that uniquely human ability to function best when under the greatest pressure. "We're within range," Weapons Officer Min reported, "but our main weapons are offline." Admiral Kim studied the tactical display. Only one option remained. "Set collision course. Prepare to evacuate the crew." "Sir," Min protested, "there must be another way." "There isn't," Kim replied, "but we'll give the evacuation pods covering fire as long as possible." Before the order could be given, Captain Gill's damaged ship accelerated past the Thunderbolt, heading directly for the node. "My ship is lost anyway," Gill's voice came through the speakers. "My people thank yours for showing us how to fight back. Complete the mission, Admiral." Gill's ship struck the central node, creating a chain reaction that rippled through the structure. The Void ship suddenly lost coordination, their movements becoming erratic and confused. For the first time in its existence, the Void Dominion experienced defeat. The hive mind had been fragmented, though not destroyed. After hours of chaotic fighting, the remaining Void ships retreated to the edges of the system. 3 days later, something unprecedented happened. A Void emissary requested communication with Admiral Kim. The war that had raged for 3 centuries was ending not with complete destruction, but with the possibility of peace. On the observation deck of the Thunderbolt, Admiral Kim stood with Elder Mock watching the shattered remains of the Void node. "The humans have changed everything," Mock admitted. "The way we fight, the way we think, perhaps even the way we make peace." "Humans weren't just the warriors you needed," Kim replied. "We were the storm that washed away old divisions and created something stronger." As damaged ships limped home, word spread throughout the galaxy. The war was not over, but it had fundamentally changed. and humanity had earned its place among the stars not just through strength of arms, but through the courage to try what others thought impossible.